Hey everyone, this is Diabetes the Second here with the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Seed of the Week for December 6, 2020. The rules for the race are the same as usual and are shown on screen. For more information about the Seed of the Week, the randomizer, and the DWR Discord community, please check out the description below. As for me, I stream DWR fairly regularly at twitch.tv/diabetesthe2nd, usually somewhere between 8 p.m. and midnight Eastern, including viewer-requested seeds and community races, with the occasional vanilla speedrun stream on Saturday morning. So feel free to stop by. Content there is going to be very similar to what's going on here, except instead of post-mortem commentary, you'll be getting info straight as the seed's progressing, a lot of chat interactivity, and it is definitely a fun time. So, as usual, we're going to be doing some post-mortem commentary for the run, so we're going to go ahead and get that going. So the results of this week's race will be shown at the conclusion of the seed as is usual. The flag of seed today is going to be very similar to what we've seen in the past in terms of tournament standard, with a randomized overworld map, town and cave locations, chest and search spot treasures, enemy zones, skills and spells, and hero stat growth and spells. Only 75% of XP required for leveling, and Repel is active in dungeons when cast. The one additional wrinkle this week is that we're going to be forced to learn Heal and Hurt before we can learn their respective buffed counterparts. So it doesn't necessarily imply late appearance of those powerhouse spells, but it certainly does make a level 1 Hurt more, carrying us through the seed, for example, a much less likely occurrence. Alright, it looks like we are going to be Sue from Pac-Man, the purple ghost, for the seed, starting off with a torch, some gold, no spells, 5, 7, 11, 4. Not the best in terms of stats. Anytime you're dealing with 4 or 5 strength, you're not even reliably going to be damaging your slime and red slime enemies. You really are required to have one of those two in the home zone in order to gain XP. So saving here, since we have the gold, if we find a town nearby to buy some equipment, that would be great. Now we do have a torch, so we can throw that at an enemy. Good, we do have slimes here in the home zone. Oh, we also have scorpions, which are obviously far too strong for us to deal with at this point. We did take a death there, but we did gain 1 experience point, so we'll probably still fish around and see what's nearby. Oh, there is a town directly west of the castle. And we're not going to get a chance to see it yet, as the skeleton hits us for exact lethal damage. Went ahead and reset out of that 1 experience point gained, hoping that the town provides a little bit of benefit in terms of equipment. The castle seems to be on the very western edge of the home zone. Just 2 steps to the west puts us in the adjacent Zone 1. And by that I mean the zone that the castle spawns in. The enemy zones are 15 by 15 tile, areas on the map. The castle will spawn somewhere in Zone 0. The reason Zone 0 is special is that it is limited as to what enemies can appear in it. They can be up to a scorpion. We see things like skeletons and warlocks as we... Is that 4 encounters in 7 steps? Jeez. The adjacent zones east and west are known as Zone 1. The adjacent zones north and south are known as Zone 2, and those are both limited to up to wolves. Alright, we're going to get a look at the town. It's Hawksness. It's a Hawksness, the dead town full of enemies. And there's red dragons right nearby. Wonderful. This is shaping up to be a very exciting start. Lots of death and destruction, none of which is at our own hand. Okay, there's red slimes too, so we have two things that we can kill in the home zone here. Still, if we could find a town or something nearby, that would be helpful. If they have even a club would help, but especially if there's a copper sword or hand axe. That would go a long way, adding 10 to 15 attack power. Needing just 1 XP to meet the level. Kind of feeling that I should try to pick it up here real quick. If level 2 has, you know, some big spells or lots of stat gains, then it really doesn't matter as much about finding equipment. Level 2, 1:16:07. Well, the lack of strength is going to be a problem. It looks like we're still limited to just fighting slimes and red slimes here. Next level at 17 experience points. Well, it's a slow go, but again, any level can be the breakout level. Even learning the hurt spell would make a big difference. Well, that's a little bit less good. So slimes, one of the two things we can kill, apparently, has Dragon Lord Breath. Long flat edge here probably means southern edge of the map. Just wanted to make sure there wasn't something hiding down here. There was not. So west is Hawksness, just to the west immediately gets us into Sharlock enemies. How about here? East we're into Sharlock enemies too. It's a golem, and it has sleep. So we're kind of in a tough spot. We're bounded in both directions by enemies that not only can we not fight, but we're going to have an immense difficulty running from. We have very low strength, although we do have two enemies that we can fight here in the home zone. One does have a nasty ability, but we can mostly get around it. So it looks like it's going to be a slow process of getting up to level 3 and hoping that that's what's going to break us out. Alright, level 3. Well, the game's really trolling us now. That was 0 strength, 0 agility, so nothing is opened up to us. So now we're starting to get into awkward territory, so the levels continue to spread further and further apart. So we need 35 experience points, so 18 more to get to level 4, and we're going to be doing it in 1 and 2 XP chunks, unless we find a way to fight some bigger enemies. Kind of hugging the coast here to see if I can stay in a lower zone, but it doesn't seem to be possible. At least I haven't run into a red dragon. It is the one good thing about the big agility boost that we picked up at level 2. As we find a cave, okay, this is promising. Green dragon, okay, good. What have we got? This is the grave. Okay, there's 3 chests easily accessible here at the top. Any one of those could be a game changer. We've got a torch. Fairy water. And a dragon scale. Okay, none of those is as game-changing as I'd like. However, the fairy water, in and of itself, should allow for a... Oh, that's unfortunate. I'll say the fairy water itself should allow for a scorpion kill. The 2 torches would probably combine for one as well. We burned one there to try to kill the magician, and the magician had fire breath, unfortunately. So, we can still take out a scorpion, and a scorpion at this point will give us almost everything we need to pick up level 4. Trying to save that torch, but I don't want to risk it. I really probably only need to do 1, maybe 2 damage to the scorpion, but don't want to risk it. And just trying to grind it out here and see if the next level is the one. Only 2 power. 7, 6, 4. We did get a spell though. It's heal. Okay. That is something to work with. The problem is that the strength gain that we had, it doesn't allow us to damage scorpions reliably. We're going to be doing 0 to 1 at a coin flip's chance. So even with heal, you're talking about, 20 turn fights. So what can we do? We can try to explore more, or we can try to go back to the cave and pick up... Oh, there's a town right here. I just didn't quite get up this far before. I was too busy getting mauled in the plains tiles. What town is this? We know it's a healing town. It has shops and it's Cantlin. This is probably... This would have been the best case scenario early on. Ugh. And there it is. There's the copper sword. There's the hand axe. You can see I'm really thinking it over right now. What do I do here? I can't afford anything right now. I can pick up fairy water. That will help me with a few more scorpion kills. I can pick up 2. Oh god, all the best equipment here. Flame sword, magic armor, silver shield. So I could reset and try to get back up here. I figure at this point I'm over 12 minutes in. I do have 30 some odd experience. 2 more scorpion kills will put me, most of the way toward the next level. Looks like I'm going to hang out here for a second, maybe look for a scorpion or a skeleton. So we're going to take a druid instead. Not the most lucrative or best use of our fairy water since it took both of them. And we actually got less return on our investment than a single scorpion kill would have been. Continually in my head here, kind of the wheels are turning, trying to figure out what am I going to do here. Should I reset? It's now been another couple minutes. This is going to take a while to grind up this next level. Okay, interesting. So I went ahead and saved, and I guess just to maintain that progress, and we're going to restart. So at 14:45, it's like we spotted the field almost 15 minutes head start. So the goal here, it looks like, is pick up a sizable gold chest. 725 is really good. Gold chests are randomized between 500 and 755 gold per, so 725 is on the high end. That will allow us to carry the gold up to Cantlin by presumably a hand axe. And there was some additional defensive equipment. I don't think it's going to help. It's not going to protect us from the Dragon Lord breath. It might help us with the Scorpion, but I think the better use would be just filling up on fairy water and throwing that, hoping for one-shot kills on the Scorpion instead. Oh wow, we walked up first try. This could have been us 15 minutes ago. Yep, we have enough to buy leather armor and small shield, but again, I think the better call here is to just fill up on fairy water. You can see how it's sort of hedging or debating about it, because the other thing I could do is pick up a bunch of herbs as well. But with only 11 HP, and we know that the heal spell is incoming shortly, it probably makes sense. Okay, we have the extra gold, might as well buy a torch too. See, now we're even doing damage to these bigger enemies, so that's going to make a lot of things fightable. We'll take the Death Warp here, get back to the home zone, and probably beat up on some Scorpions. Now, I think I should have resaved there. That would allow me to walk outside. If I encounter Scorpion, I can just throw fairy water. If it kills it, great. If it doesn't kill it and I get killed, I can reset out of it and save the fairy water. See, and that's exactly the reason why I didn't throw it first. Because we got back attacked, we're in one-shot range. So attack first, throw fairy water second, you're guaranteed to get the kill. But, bad luck there. Again, the back attack, so we'll attack first. And another exact lethal from the Scorpion. Should actually reset my tracking progress back down to level 1 because we did indeed reset. We do, however, now have some equipment. Yeah, this is what I should have done the first time. Tell I'm getting a little tilty. Frustrated with 1 experience point now through nearly 19 minutes. Another scorpion back attack. But the one-shot kill from the fairy water will actually bounce us all the way up to level 3. We don't have heal yet. Once we have that, we can probably move into an adjacent zone. Try to take on the skeletons, the warlocks. Oh, a little bit of bad luck again there. Low roll on the fairy water, high roll on the scorpion HP. So we do waste a fairy water there, but we do have a couple more in the inventory. And again, once we get to level 4, because we have better attack power this time, we should be pretty well opened up. There we go. I was wondering when I was going to move into the next zone. And at this point, we've already surpassed where we were before we reset. So it took us about 15 minutes before we reset. We had fewer experience points than we've gotten in the subsequent 7 minutes, so half the time. And we have a nearly 600 gold piece of weapon as well. So we are way ahead of where we were had we not reset. Alright, what does level 5 have to offer? Again, just 2 power. What spell do we pick up? Oh wow. So Radiant's not super helpful at the present moment, but Heal More is... I mean, still also not super helpful with 26 HP, but it really reinforces the idea that just because the flag that is active for must learn Heal before Heal More and Hurt before Hurt More doesn't necessarily mean that Heal More and Hurt More are going to be late in the seed. It just means that you're going to learn the weak version before the stronger one. So in this case, level 4 and level 5. So the level 5 stat gain, I think, really, again, further reinforces that the reset was the appropriate call. You know, if we had nickel and dimed our way through red slimes and slimes up to level 5 with just punching, we would have been rewarded with well, the need to do so for another 80-some experience points, so that was really not going to be a good solution. In fact, I probably should have reset the instant that I saw the equipment in Cantlin. Would have saved about 3 minutes. In the meantime, not much else to do. We're bounded by Sharlock enemies on both sides, but to just grind and see if we can pick up some additional stats. We have pretty reliable enemies to do so here. We picked up some stats for sure. That's where all the strength was hiding. 32 power at level 6. Now all of a sudden these 5 and 6 turn fights are going to turn into 2 attack fights. Alright, next enemy will give level 7. There's not anything specific that I'm looking for at the next level to kind of break me out of the grind here. "12 HP will help. The spell is Stop Spell. Again, can be helpful situationally. Probably going to continue to grind here, though. So the big things in any seed, but I think probably especially in this one, given the enemies that we've seen on either side, is we got to figure out when we can go out and explore. And usually the two big things are, can we fight things, and can we not die to things? And you might think, well, those kind of go hand in hand, and it's obvious, right? Sometimes it's not as clear-cut. In this case, we have a very, very clear path forward. Like, we have a good enemy zone here. It's going to be easy for us to grind an additional level here. We need to get to 600 experience points. That's roughly 10 to 12 battles, depending on which enemies we run into. But between the warlocks, skeletons, and scorpions here, quick and easy for the most part. But anytime that you're spending walking around the map, A, not fighting things, meaning you're not gaining experience points, and B, dying to things, meaning you're losing your map position and having to spawn back at the castle, is time lost. So we need to make sure that once we start venturing out, we have the ability to fight things, gain experience points, level up, and also not die to everything we face. Now, it's possible that there's just this one blockading zone to the northwest, and once we get past it, we'll be fine, but we still have to get through it. And the same could apply to the northeast. We really only saw the golem over there that was a problem. But short of stumbling immediately onto the sword or the armor, there's really not a whole lot else that's going to be a major game changer. you know, finding Remolder or, you know, some other easy source of keys opens up a lot of checks. But otherwise, I think this is definitely the best call. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it is effective. Alright, this Warlock will give us level 8. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of agility. That was a really nice level. And we learned Sleep. Now, Sleep could be helpful. It wouldn't be particularly effective against the Red Dragon we've seen to the north, or the Golem we've seen to the east. But we have seen a Star Wyvern, it's a coin flip to work there. Doesn't really work against a Druid Lord, but again, we have potential options. Carrying around over 1,000 gold. Unfortunately, we didn't really see any defensive equipment that was worth a whole lot. But at least we can, you know, come up here, fill up on herbs, maybe pick up a little bit of equipment. Dragon Scale, things like that. Not let our cash go to waste. Alright, we did go ahead and pick up the leather armor, silver shield, small shield, good for 4 defense points each. As we immediately run into more Sharlock enemies. So this is a different zone than the Golem, but the Wizard is still no joke. We have a lot of extra strength now, but we're not going to be able to sustain defensively. We do have another cave here north of Cantlin. And it's Tablet Cave, so 1 chest, no encounters here. See if anything useful is here. Again, most useful things, armor, sword, key. Unfortunately, it is empty. So that means that that was an herb. So you'll see that message pop up either when your inventory is full of one of the 2 consumable items, herbs or keys. You'll also see that message pop up if that chest had a key item in it and you've already picked it up. And we know that's not the case. So it has to be one of the former. Since we have no keys, that means it was an herb. Oh boy. So the Golem before put us to sleep, and this one breathes Dragon Lord fire on us. So Golems are no joke in this one. I was going to say, for a moment it looked like I was going to check Hawksnest. We could check Hawksnest to see what the enemy set is in here. We could potentially also check the tile. If the tile is a stone man, we do have sleep. It's a golem. We have stop spell. Might be worth trying to put him to sleep, or trying to do that so the sleep is no longer effective, but with only 56 HP, anytime he uses Dragon Lord Breath, it is 100% lethal. I can see him definitely getting antsy at this point, wanting to get out here and explore. We have the ability to fight bigger enemies than just the skeletons and warlocks. They're still pretty reliable, and it wouldn't take that many to get up to level 9. You know, a knight is borderline, but if we get okay rolls, we could take one out. You know, and if he doesn't, you know, nearly max roll his damage twice in a row. I don't know the range, but it's probably somewhere in the area of like 16 to 32, so for him to roll high 20s twice in a row is a little unlucky. Perhaps deciding at this point that picking up the level in the safer zone might be the better play. The problem is what we just saw. Now these enemies can run away from us, and that's going to make it even harder to grind in them. Druid Lord, however, excellent target. Less so with Hurtmore. They are mixed in with red dragons, so this is not likely to be a zone that we want to stay in. But as we're passing through, that is certainly a battle I will take. Knights also have Hurtmore. So we're gathering information. We're getting better prepared for these fights by having that information. So now we know. We see Druid Lord, we stop spell, then we swing. We see Knight, same thing. Now all of a sudden we're not picking up XP in 20 to 30 chunks, we're picking it up in 60 to 80 chunks. Alright, Poltergeist vaults us up to level 9. Two, 5, 3, 2, no spell. So, an uneventful level 9. Not really going to push us over any thresholds. As we skim over the southern edge of the map here. To find a very lengthy dead end. This is a bit of a speculative one. It's not impossible to win this battle, as strange as it seems. If the wizard rolls on the low-ish side, if we get good attack rolls, We need to squeeze one more attack in there. We did about, what, about 58 damage? Something like that. Wizards can have up to 65 HP. Star Wyvern would be pretty difficult to take out at this point, but, you know, if it stays asleep for a few turns, we have at least a chance. It's like we'll just ditch those in favor of the other slightly easier, more favorable enemies, such as... Well, if Stop Spell doesn't land, it definitely makes it a lot harder. At 76 attack power, we could probably just swipe at it twice and hope that we get the kill. Nonetheless, looks like we're going to go east now. We saw Tablet Cave to the north. Alright, we've got the eastern edge of the map, and a dead end here. I don't recall if we saw if the area east of Tablet Cave had anything or not. There are just an awful lot of Sharlock tier enemies across this overworld. We've seen most of them at this point. Just in this area, we've seen blue dragons, stone men, wizards. To the west, we've seen red dragons. We also saw star wyverns over there. So that's half a Sharlock right there, just in the zones adjacent to the castle. A little bit more in terms of resources in the tank for this wizard battle. Of course, the excellent move makes it a moot point. We're going to get the win either way, so that's a nice 120 experience in our pocket. And it's dead end, so there's nothing else here northeast of home, so everything is going to have to go through that Star Wyvern Red Dragon zone north of Hawksness. Nearly 45 minutes in, the only things we've seen, Hawksness, Cantlin, Tablet Cave, and the top of the grave. We have no keys, so we have no idea about coordinates yet. We haven't been able to check the bottom chest of the grave. We haven't checked the Tantegel treasury or the cave in the back. We have none of our quest items. We don't have Erdrick's sword. We don't have Erdrick's armor. Like, we are feeling immensely behind at this point. We had to reset the game 15 minutes in order to get ourselves better equipment and a better start. So, definitely kind of in what on earth can I possibly do to salvage this mode. Finally some new territory. Same old enemies though. I think these are good fights to fight. Again, they're taking a lot of resources, but what did we say earlier? You have to be able to fight things and gain experience while you explore. You have to be able to survive and maintain your map position. Or at least doing the former, and hoping that along the way we'll be able to manage the latter as well. Now, we're not too far from home. We take a couple of tough battles. We have to death refill, so be it. But we'll have to be more selective about which battles we take the farther away we get. Alright, this just kind of a blind loop here doesn't lead to anything. Oh, there is a town up there to the north. Let's see if we can plow through the swamp and get up there. It's probably best case scenario, but it doesn't feel good finding Remolder with keys. It was not that much farther past the grave, which we got to in, what, about 6 or 7 minutes? And now this grants us key access. And we have just enough gold to fill up entirely. Take an in trip. Alright, Silver Harp. So that is the first of our quest items. Nothing game-changing in terms of survivability or anything else, but it is one of the things that we did indeed need. To push our way through this NPC. Silver Shield here in Remolder, which we've already seen one of in Cantlin. Really checking for things like Broadsword, Large Shield. Even some intermediate armor would have been nice. Not that we can afford it, but at least we would know it was there. If a gold grind is available in the castle, almost certainly we'll stop in Cantlin and upgrade. Depending on, of course, what we find in the meantime. Now, with key access, you might think, you know, what's the play here? Should I go right back to the castle immediately? There's 4 chests there. There's a cave there. Cantlin is not far away. You know, you can look for coordinates. Wow. Big stat gains again. It's funny to think that early on in the seed we were way behind on strength, and now we are super strong for level 10. But regarding what the play is, going back home is not a bad play. Staying out and exploring is not a bad play. We've had trouble getting out into the world, so it was not necessarily easy to get here, so if we can walk around a little bit more, see what else we can find. Perhaps we find the mountain cave, and we can do a gold grind out of there. Perhaps we find Garinham and Swamp Cave or something is in the back. We could do a gold grind out of there. Again, if a gold grind exists. But at least we'd have the opportunity and it would already be set up for us. Alright, we've got a cave here to the northeast. Alright, we've got the Staff of Rain Cave. We did just pick up the Silver Harp, so at least we can make the turn-in right away. Again, not necessarily the thing that we wanted to find immediately, because it doesn't really change our preparedness to be out into the world, but it is indeed something that we needed to do. Let's go ahead and light keys up on the tracker as well, since we purchased those. Does certainly change things. Alright, you know what? We got a little bit more exploration done. We have a lot of stuff we can do at home now. It's not a bad spot in order to take a Death Warp. Alright, in Tantagel Castle we have the Fairy Flute. Alright, we have gold in the bottom left, so a gold grind is available, and there's Erdrick's Sword. Again, it didn't take us a long time to get back here, but again, just thinking of what could have been, had we found Vermolder much easier and much sooner, how we could have been fighting with Erdrick's Sword all along. Alright, in the basement we have Mountain Cave. Okay. A couple things I could do here. I could step back outside. I know that I have a gold chest in the treasury, so I could set up the gold grind right away. On the other hand, that's the 8th chest that I just picked up, so any subsequent chests, so we have 4 more chances. We could have a gold grind without having to do an additional setup and walking back through the castle and wasting a minute, so we'll see. Alright, so the gold grind is available. I took a few there, but realizing, well, what if I die? Let me check the rest of these chests here. Plus, what if I find the armor down here? Then that's something else I don't need to grind for. That looked like a torch. That was empty. Final chest. Sword Magidrak, which is Erdrick's token. Okay, another quest item down. So go ahead and finish the gold grind up here. In this case, we'll be looking for probably magic armor, silver shield. So 22,500 gold is our target. We'll port this directly up to Cantlin. Based on the map that we've seen, I don't see any specifically dangerous enemies. I mean, the slimes have Dragon Lord Breath, but nothing else that we've seen, and we can stay out of the golem zone by just hugging the coastline. So we shouldn't have to go to the king and save. Technically we could, in order to be safest. While we're in Cantlin, we can pick up coordinates, should they exist. Whoops, there's a miss menu. Given Erdrick Sword, the fact that we know Stop Spell, we now have the Fairy Flute. We'll have better defensive equipment. It's probably also not unreasonable to go and check out the search tile in Hawksness. Again, we're still borderline on HP. If we get breathed on, we will die. But if we can put the golem to sleep with the Fairy Flute, stop spell it, and eliminate its ability to put us to sleep, we can probably get through that fight semi-safely. And even if we die, we're very, very close to the castle, so it wouldn't be a huge time loss. That will get another check done. Whether we find there our last quest item in the Stones of Sunlight, perhaps we'll find Erdrick's armor there, also would be a huge boon. Of course, it could be empty, could be the Death Necklace. But either way, it would be one less thing that we need to worry about later. We're going to sneak in level 11 from the Druid before we pick up our new equipment. 24 HP is nice. Alright, there's the silver shield. And there's the magic armor. So major improvements really across the board in the last 5 minutes. By picking up Erdrick's Sword over the hand axe, that's 25 additional attack power. By picking up the magic armor and silver shield, worth a combined 44 defense, as opposed to the 8 that we had from our prior equipment. So there's a plus 36 to defense, so looking at the numbers now, we are way ahead of where we were. Actually, very close to Dragon Lord ready stats here at level 11. The HP is a problem, low agility is a problem, the MP just is not there at all. We only have 5 heal mores. So, more levels incoming. Back attacked. Probably should flute it, walk back out, heal more. But it looks like we'll stay in the battle and see what we can get done. Stop spell would be good, get rid of its sleep ability, or just screw it. Just hope we never get more than 1 turn slept. Hey, we got it done. Thou hast found the Stones of Sunlight. So, final quest item acquired. So what's left on the checklist at this point? Well, according to the tracker, we are still looking for the Rainbow Drop, which we'll get from Rainbow Drop Turn-In Cave. We have not found the Jerk yet. We are also in need of Erdrick's armor, as we take the Death Warp there from the Red Dragon. Possibilities at this point. There are still quite a few. If you noticed, and I think I've noticed at this point, I forgot to get coordinates in Cantlin before I left. So we're going to head back up there, so a little bit of a time waste here. Having to go back and double check this. I think I was just so excited for the new equipment, I bailed too soon. So that's one possibility. We've yet to find coal, so there's another search tile that could have the armor. We also have the bottom 2 chests in the grave. We have the 3 chests in Garinham. The freebie chest in the Stones of Sunlight cave. And then, of course, the worst case scenario, Charlotte Castle. Especially with very low MP, that would not be a very fun dive. Coordinates. Thou must go and fight, so no overworld search tile. Considering how strong we are, the repel cell would be pretty nice about now. And get rid of all these early game encounters that are not going to give us a lot in the way of XP. We don't care about gold anymore. As long as we have enough to stay at an inn or buy herbs, that's all we need. Alright, there's the ding for level 12. We hit 20 more power. Again, you would never believe that this was a seed in which we had 10 strength at level 5. We've picked up 95 in the last 7 levels, which is incredible. Like, we are more than ready for the Dragon Lord, at least in terms of attack power. HP is right at the borderline where it's feasible. But the MP, though, is very low. And our agility is not as great as what I'd like it to be, especially considering we don't have the extra heal morse to burn. But it's amazing, we said a few minutes ago, 45 minutes, we had no quest items, we had none of Erdrick's equipment, we were only level 9, we had just terrible equipment in general, and now, less than 20 minutes later, we have all the quest items, Erdrick Sword, the best equipment that money can buy. It's amazing the difference that a few minutes and a few checks will make. In our case, we happened to find Grimulder. The sword was in the Tantegel Treasury. We activated a gold grind. We also found the token while we were in the mountain cave activating the grind. The stones were in Hawksness, which we were able to fight the golem there immediately after picking up all of our fresh new equipment. The harp was in Remolder where we got the keys in the first place, so all of that stuff happened in just a couple of minutes. Alright, into some new territory here northwest of Remolder. Couple of options. Looks like we can go south, we can go north. In general, I try to go in directions I think are going to have shorter dead ends first, to just rule out portions of the map so I don't have to come back to them later. This looked like it was pretty far over to the western edge of the map, and we know that there's further dead ends to the south, so this was likely going to be a short trip, and it was. 48 damage to the red dragon. Alright, we've got a cave on screen. Let's see if we can get away from this golem. We'll play it safe. We already run failed once. So cave to this point we have swamp. In this case it's the jerk, so we've got our rainbow drop now. And then the Stones of Sunlight Cave. So, one of those is going to be in the back of Grinham. Alright, there is a bridge up there to the northwest that may go to something. We'll go east here first. We've got to be getting pretty close to the northern border of the map at this point, as we dispatch of the Axe Knight for level 13. 23 agility is wonderful, 10 MP is also good. Looking at the stats right now, it's still very borderline. At 146 attack power, you're looking at 11 to 23 damage versus the Dragon Lord, so 17-ish on average. Need about 9 attacks to win. We have 8 heal mores, so it's definitely doable. So the pressure is on right now as we stumble upon Sharlock, but we still have no Erdrick's armor. The big agility gain actually makes level 13 a lot more palatable. If we were still with agility in the 60s, I would be very concerned about not being able to run away from things in the castle. So this is Cole. And we find the Death Necklace, so that is not the armor. So, decision point right here. We're an hour and 9 minutes in. We're feeling way behind. We reset 15 minutes in. It's been a jet the last 25 minutes. We're ready to win. We don't have the armor though. Where could the armor be? We have the 3 chests in Grinham. We have the Stones of Sunlight Cave. We have the bottom 2 chests in the grave. And we have the 7 chests here in Sharlock. So altogether, that's 6 checks outside Sharlock, 7 checks inside Charlock. Odds on play. Armor is here. Doesn't mean it will be. It just means, statistically speaking, there are more possibilities here than anywhere else. Granted, those checks are a trip to get to, as we crit the blue dragon. There's also going to be a lot of good enemies for us to fight here as we dip through the castle. We have really good defense, so the werewolf should be no problem. But things like the barrier tiles here are a problem. We're going to lose probably 2 heal mores just to the barrier tiles. Like I said, 8 heal mores. I actually only have 7. So 9 attacks, 7 heal mores. Not great, but again, it is doable. We're still picking up XP as we travel here. We need just about 1,000 experience points to pick up level 14. And really with any sort of stat gain, it's likely to be the level. Ooh, the double dodge from the werewolf. Triple dodge! Nobody likes to do math, but that is 3 1 in 16 shots in a row. The odds of that aren't great, about 1 in a little over 4,000. Immediately followed by the 1 in 32 chance to crit the green dragon. Perfect for this seed. Makes sense. Yikes. Okay, well, we didn't get to check any of the chests here, but we know there are golems. That's a problem. So since we're back here at home, we have to walk right past the grave. It would probably make sense to just go ahead and do that check now. Just to say we did it. Granted, it's a long trip for just 2 chests when there are, 13 possibilities. It also wouldn't be the worst idea to go on a quick expedition to see if we can find Grinham and the Stones Cave. So we're going to dip into the grave. It looks like we're going to pass it up. Again, could be the right play. Might come back to bite us. Definitely the sense of being behind is playing into the decision at this point. Unquestionably. When you feel like you're behind, if you really want to try to do well or salvage something, you definitely feel the need to, I don't want to say make risky plays, because it's not really risky in the sense that it's going to cause us harm or something. But risky in the sense that if the armor is there, it's going to cost us a lot of time circling back around and coming back to it later. Alright, level 14, 1, 4, 2, 7. Bunch of spells there. Hurt outside and return. And you know, those are not insignificant pickups. Now the hurt spell isn't doing much for us as we Wow. Again, the tilt is real here. It just took exact lethal damage. Probably pretty close to a max roll 36 from the Red Dragon. Outside and return are really important though, so now, one of the drawbacks of diving the grave was the fact that we would have to take a death out or walk all the way back out. The same would go for Sharlock. We would have to take a death to get out of there without the outside spell. And return, just to, get back to the castle after the game as we pass the grave again. I don't like that play. I mean, I know how this turns out, so I know that it's, the right or the wrong play. Shouldn't say the right or the wrong play. The right or the wrong ultimate outcome. Whether or not I should have or shouldn't have. But I think the correct play in this circumstance, now having outside, with these checks, basically have to walk right past it, I think it would be a good idea to rule it out. Part of the reason for that being, yes, odds are that the armor isn't there. There's only 2 versus 11 checks in other places. But if it's there, it's going to make the dive through Sharlock much easier. We don't have to go looking for Garinham or the Stones Cave. You don't have to bother with the Sharlock Treasury at all. And this double dive situation. Diving once for the armor, picking it up, coming back out, going back to Cold to heal, diving back in. We can just go and win. So there's reasons for both, but I think in this case, given everything that we've seen, it would be the better idea to go ahead and clear the grave now. Okay, looks like we're looking for Garinham or Stones Cave. I actually found an additional loop, it looks like there. That circles back here to the west. We didn't say that earlier, so that means that body of water to the southeast portion of this current screen is a big lake in the middle of this continent. That can always be a little bit confusing. I actually had a race seed recently where an entire area of the map was this just interconnected web of land bridges and things with a bunch of lakes in it. It was very difficult to map and confusing, especially later on. Ah, there's the cave, there's the town. So one of these is going to be swamp, which is going to be this one. The town is going to be Garinham, and that means the Stones Cave is back here. So 4 more opportunities. As we see that we are already full on herbs. Not sure why I stopped at the weapon shop. I think I meant to stop at the inn. There we go. So 4 more opportunities for the armor here. You've got gold, gold, and wings. None of those are the armor. A magic key is also not armor, so we are now left with the bottom 2 chests in the grave and the 7 chests in Sharlock. We're pretty close to Sharlock. I know that's where I'm headed. Again, odds on play, 78% chance that the armor is in the castle. Now, based on where I am and the numbers, it probably is the better play to just go and do this. But again, it's a toss-up. If the armor's here, we're good. If the armor is not here, it's going to cost us more time. Don't want to lose my map position. Charlotte Castle is way in the northeast corner of the map. Tentacle Castle is in way the southwest corner, so this is a long walk back and forth. Note that again, strictly speaking, we don't really need any additional levels. I keep taking the fights because they keep presenting themselves to me. And again, depending on the enemy set as we traverse through Charlock, the one thing we don't have much to spare of is MP. So we have to burn any heal mores on our way down. At least on our definitive dive, not so much on this exploratory go find the armor dive. You know, that's going to be a problem, so taking an additional level up to 15 here is not that big of a deal. Again, a few levels ago when I only had 60 some agility, it made more sense to fight through things. Now with 90 plus agility, you know, I'm a coin flipper batter to run from everything. Pretty good chance to run from everything except a red dragon or armored knight, and at least those again are about a coin flip. So I don't need to fight through everything. One spell I am lacking that would be really helpful here is Repel. But perhaps it'll show up at level 15. Taking a lot of fights here, do need to be cautious that I do maintain enough MP to actually get all the way to the bottom. Level 15 has for us 1, 3, 9, 1, and Repel. Perfect, so don't need to worry about all those extra encounters now. We will still fight some things, but Blue Dragon is about as weak as it's going to be at this point, with 90 defense. Things like werewolves, wizards, green dragons, star wyverns, all off the menu. Bypass the vanilla sword branch in order to check the 6 chests at the bottom. Okay, looking for Erdrick's armor. We have a torch, a cursed belt, a magic key, empty, fighter's ring, and another cursed belt. So, the armor was not down here. That means now there's only one chest left in Sharlock. So even though it was a 78% chance to be here, it's now only a 33% chance to be here. With the other option being one of the bottom two chests in the grave. Again, we skipped those chests the very first time because we didn't have key access, but we've walked past the grave half a dozen times now with keys and opted not to dig those chests out. Gold. Armor in the grave. Could have had it 25 minutes ago. Could have had it much longer ago than that, but in terms of a reasonable time to get it, probably would have been about, well, really, after we picked up Outside and Return was probably the best opportunity. Before that, I could sort of justify, not wanting to dive the grave. You don't have Outside. It's going to take a little bit of work to do a Death Warp. Unless you run into something like a Golem. But it turns out it was the right play. Or it was, at least the location. Again, correct play or odds-on play are always debatable. Again, odds-wise, the armor not in this chest, that means there's exactly one chest, one search spot, one anything left in the entire seed that we have not checked. And that's where the armor lies. The very bottom chest that in the vanilla game has the silver harp. That is where Erdrick's armor is hidden. And it looks like a death refill would have been a fairly easy thing to do, as we do find golems down here in the bottom zone. Can't afford to take a death here. There it is. You know, looking at the map, I'm not entirely certain why I decided to go kind of this third loop around to get to Charlotte Castle. It seems like I have to go further north and then loop back down south to get there, so I'm not sure why I went this direction, but either way, we get there. Stop and coal, heal up. Again, looking at the Dragon Lord math now, level 15 again, we're definitely in overkill range. We still only have 66 MP, but I would not be shocked if we finish this fight with a couple heal mores left, assuming we don't burn some on the way down. With 150 attack power, looking at doing it 12 to 25 damage per swing versus the Dragon Lord, 17.5 damage per swing. 8 to 9 attacks to win, 8 heal mores. With good defense, a double attack isn't impossible at 109. So we should be a virtual lock to win this fight. Just gotta get there. The only thing that I could see wrecking us at this point would be a very unlucky back attack from a golem, either somewhere in the middle zone, or we still don't know what the trap tile is right outside the Dragon Lord's throne room. Again, same situation if that's a golem. Right now we do have 2 MP that we can burn and still maintain 8 heal mores. So if it is a golem, we could try to flute it to sleep and then stop spell it to prevent the sleep spell. We've seen that it's not terribly effective, but we can at least give it a try for safety. This is the danger. So that's the difficulty. I mean, again, you're sitting here wanting to cut off seconds, casting, you know, the flute or playing the flute costs you about 8 to 10 seconds. You don't want to waste that extra little bit of time. 93 agility or over 80% to run. So you, again, really don't feel like you should have to, but it is the safer play. Fortunately, that golem decided to punch us a few times as opposed to breathing big ol' fire breath on us. Alright, trap tile enemy is a stone man. We already used our little bit of MP buffer, so we don't have the MP to put him to sleep without losing a heal more. Because we are so strong, it really doesn't matter. We can use 1 herb and basically be back to full HP. Alrighty, Dragon Lord fight incoming. Again, barring some very outlandish RNG here, we should have this fight virtually locked up. Double swap spell from the Dragon Lord. Alright, 150 to 165 max HP for DL2. He gets first strike. We do 14. $32. $57. 25 is the max. 80. With those really high rolls, there's now no reason to take any risky swings unless we roll a bunch of mins in a row. 102. $115. $134. $150. Likely, but not guaranteed to win on the swing, so we will go ahead and use the last heal more. 166 clears the full damage range. So that is going to do it. So it wasn't pretty. There were a lot of self-induced mistakes. There were a lot of choices that were made that didn't pan out, whether they were the odds-on plays or not. But we finished the seed with a final time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, 9 seconds. Now, when we were 45 minutes in, this seemed like it could be a dream time. Wow, less than 2 hours? This was looking like a 2+ hour seed. But with that that's 20-minute segment where we found most of our quest items, Erdrick's Sword, we bought a whole bunch of good equipment. Wow, we went from this looking like a 2-hour seed to this looking like it could be an 1 hour and 20-minute seed. But again, the end game just didn't pan out the way we really would have liked it to, and we ended up in the situation that we were in. You know, if I had to sum this up in one word, I mean, it was just very frustrating. Looking at the seed as a whole, from the terrible starting stats with no strength gains for the first 4 levels. You know, we had Sharlock enemies on both sides of Tangential Castle. We found Cantlin 12 minutes in when we could have found it 12 seconds in. We also didn't reset right away. We waited about 3 minutes to do so. We skipped the bottom of the grave multiple times when we had the opportunity to clear it, and of course, you know, again, playing the odds that the armor was going to be elsewhere, we were bitten by that. I rarely orphan checks like that, but again, I think the feeling behind there's more urge to play the numbers than there is to be thorough, and it just didn't pay off in this case. I mean, considering everything, we probably did about as well as we could have, barring those things, considering, again, the seed in the game just felt like it was fighting me at every possible turn. But it's definitely hard to get over the feeling of what could have been in this one. Again, simply lucking into the walk to Cantlin right away could have taken nearly 15 minutes off of our time. And that's setting aside everything else that we ran into throughout the seed. So that's tough to get through. But, you know, it is what it is, so let's go ahead and take a look and see how we did. 7th place out of a 15-person field. Honestly, top half, didn't really expect that based on the run here. Again, the rough start, the 15-minute reset. I mean, look at it. The 15-minute reset alone would have put us within a minute of the lead. Namanva, 21:27. Fantastic time, taking it by 32 seconds over up to NG. those are really, really good times. I would imagine that several of the top runners probably didn't have to reset, at least not as late as we did. But beyond that, again, last locationing armor, I figured that those two things alone would have put us a good distance back, but it just didn't. You know, I expect probably several other runners, especially the ones who were finished, you know, closer to 2 hours or more, probably did similar things to what we did, last locationing the armor, having to reset late, etc. And they were burned by those same things. You know, the other thing I do have to take a step back and think about is this overworld was brutal. There were Sherlock enemies everywhere. Red dragons, golems with sleep dragonlord breath. We saw blue dragons, we saw wizards, we saw star wyverns. We got caught a few times, but we also got a ton of XP and exploration done by taking those fights when they seemed to be in our favor. So maybe by little seconds at a time, we were gaining time, but we were ultimately so far behind, and then the ultimate, decision to skip the bottom chest of the grave just cost us too much in the end to really make a good competitive time in this one. But it is what it is. Rando gonna rando. That's why we run the seeds. It was a fun one overall. Frustrating, but fun. Especially that 15-20 minute segment in the middle where everything seemed to be going right. In any case, that does it for this week's DWR Seed of the Week. If you enjoyed the content, please feel free to like the video, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel for more. Come over and visit us at twitch.tv/diabetes2nd for more Dragon Warrior Randomizer and other similar gameplay. Also, a reminder to check out the description below for more information on the Seed of the Week, the Randomizer, and the DWR Discord community. Until next time, though, this is Diabetes2nd. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care.